Hello again, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for Thursday's edition of Alaska Weather on this 12th day of November 2020. I'm Dave Percy, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service, and I'll be hosting today's show. Up first, hazardous weather graphic. Winter weather advisory out for the lower Yukon Valley there for Russian Mission, Holy Cross, Anvik, and it's actually from Anvik East, or mostly from Anvik East, and that's out for the night tonight until 6 a.m. Friday morning, and that's for anywhere from 4 to 7 inches of snow expected to fall across that area, again overnight tonight. Otherwise, no other watches, warnings, or advisories out anywhere around the state today. Central, eastern, interior looking good, as well as the areas up to the north, and Panhandle looking good also as far as any watches, warnings, advisories, as well as the Bering Sea and Aleutians. Satellite imagery showing front moving in to along the North Gulf Coast. It kind of pushed northward, brought the snow to south central Alaska overnight early this morning today, lifting northward, several inches of snow falling with that, and mostly rain along the eastern North Gulf Coast. But starting to clear out southern Cook Inlet, Kenai Peninsula, a little bit drier conditions this afternoon. Even though clouds, strong northwest winds or west-northwest winds, Kodiak Island, gusting close to 50 miles an hour this afternoon at the state airport. They're showing mostly cloudy skies, about 9,000 feet on the heights there, and dry conditions. Otherwise, front brought rain in across the southeast coast today, and that's where the heaviest rainfall amounts were actually over the southern panhandle, with the during 12-hour period ending at 3 p.m. this afternoon. Prince of Wales Island areas there had about 3/4 of an inch, while Ketchikan picked up roughly half an inch of rain, as did Sitka and Wrangell. Otherwise, about 2/10 of an inch fell at Haines, and about 1,500 at Juneau, and 2/10 at Yakutat, while Cordova picked up 4/10 of an inch of precipitation today. And then Valdez had about a couple inches of snow. And areas of the interior that saw the light snow, generally less than 2 inches, although Anvik picked up about 1 to 2 inches of snow. Otherwise, amounts were a little bit lighter than that. Some areas didn't get anything at all. Some areas had a little bit more. Otherwise, out over the Bering Sea, open cell Q there, pretty good enhancement of the showers moving into the Pribilofs there. Otherwise, showers farther north you go. Rain and snow actually across the central Bering Sea, and enhanced area precipitation with another batch of clouds and a system there over the western Aleutians exiting Shemya but moving into the Adak-Atka area. And then a little bit of a break into the eastern Aleutians today, and south side of the Alaska Peninsula, dry conditions with shower conditions on the north side, and winds gusting 40 to 50 miles an hour to the northwest over the Alaska Peninsula, anywhere from 30 to 40 miles an hour along the southwest coast, again out of the northwest. While, again, the strongest winds, Kodiak State Airport, gusts close to 50 miles an hour out of the west this afternoon. Otherwise, not too bad up on the North Slope Arctic coast. Some clouds slowly dropping southward, but winds are light and not much in the way of precipitation going there. A little breezier, though, on the northwest coast, anywhere from 25 to maybe 45 miles an hour in the windier locations there from Kivalina northward to Cape Lisburne, especially in the higher elevations there of the western mountains. A few skips of snow on the central western Arctic coast, but quite light at that. East side dry, north slope pretty much dry, and areas of snow with that trough over the north central interior, extending from the southeastern Brooks Range on down into the Seward Peninsula, and really just mostly cloudy with areas of light snow and snow showers covering much of southern Alaska and the southwest areas right out to the coastline. And northwest winds, pulling snowfall levels already down actually this afternoon to sea level there, with 31 degrees at Cold Bay with gusty northwest winds. So precipitation mostly falling in the form of snow, and then a mixture of rain and snow out over the central western Aleutians, and that front bringing the rainfall into the southeast coast. Not much of a wind producer there. But slowly, that front slowly weakening and slowly moving eastward as the main low center tracking eastward from the Kenai Peninsula. Another weak low up there near the Bering Strait or just south of the Bering Strait, bringing mixed up precipitation there, mostly in the form of snow over the Seward Peninsula and the Bering Strait, and then a mix from St. Lawrence Island to the Yukon Delta coast. And for tonight, that low up there tracks eastward to almost to around the Stebbins area, St. Michael Stebbins location. And areas of snow and snow showers for St. Lawrence Island, along with increasing northeasterly winds there. Could see gusts 35 miles an hour toward morning, especially over toward Gamble. Could approach 40 miles an hour. Same thing for the Bering Strait. And areas of snow along a trough there, mostly along and south of the Brooks Range. Upper Yukon Valley, Kobuk, Koyukuk Valleys, occasional light snow tonight, snow showers and snow into the interior as well. And then westerly flow, looks like snow coming into the Yukon Kuskokwim Delta areas and the lower Yukon Valley. Again, that snow advisory, that'll be, it looks like that's where the heaviest snowfall will be in the state, 4 to 7 inches. North Gulf Coast, snow and snow showers, maybe 1 to 2 inches additional, but don't look for much more. Cook Inlet or even the Kenai Peninsula there, some snow showers into the southern Copper River Basin, more likely the Wrangell Mountains. And then that front slowly edging eastward, so behind it, west-southwest flow. That'll keep the snowfall levels above sea level, so periods of rain and showers, then a mixture in advance of the front up to the Lynn Canal Glacier Bay back toward Yakutat. Rain and snow showers, westerly winds of 15 to 30 miles an hour, maybe some higher gusts for the Aleutians. And it looks like snowfall levels coming down, so the Pribilof should be mostly snow, and they'll stay down along the Alaska Peninsula as well for snow and snow showers, with still gusty winds, with those winds diminishing there for Kodiak Island, really coming down for the Alaska Peninsula with less gradient, but picking up along the southwest coast there, becoming a little more westerly, probably staying about the same as what you saw today for the wind-wise there. And a little bit of an increase in northerly winds, Cook Inlet, Kamishak and Kachemak Bays. Could see gusts maybe 30 miles an hour, Kachemak Bay there out of the west and southwest. Forecast for tomorrow, dry conditions south central Alaska with a fair amount of clearing as well from Kodiak Island right up across the Kenai Peninsula, western Prince William Sound and Manjusca-Susitna Valley, and also back across the Kuskokwim Valley, dry conditions, just some areas of light snow and snow showers over the central interior with high pressure, clearing skies, north slope, should be dry over the Arctic coast, and some snow chances, again, northerly flow over water trajectory there with the colder air, so snow showers from the Bering Strait to mainly the north side of St. Lawrence Island and out into the west central Bering Sea. High pressure starting to develop, actually a center over the Russian Far East, ridging, hinting there over the far western Aleutians, and that's going to tighten the gradient up there over the central Bering Sea and help to pull the cold air southward a little more efficiently and a little farther to the east here Friday night and Saturday. Otherwise, southeast coast, low pressure, that low pushes eastward to just off the north coast or south of Yakutat tomorrow. And that'll keep rain and rain showers along the coast and mixed precipitation over the inside waters to the border there. Copper River Basin, mostly cloudy, as well as the upper Tanana Valley, 40-mile country, mostly cloudy, maybe some light snow showers, mainly over the mountainous terrain. Nothing significant in the way of precipitation anywhere in the interior tomorrow. None south and east of the Alaska Range. Again, that's probably you'll see the most clearing, as well as up over the north slope and into the southwest interior. And first day of the weekend, you can see that high out to the west really sharpens up and builds a fairly strong ridge there from the Pacific right up into the Russian Far East. So northerly flow, that'll drive cold air southward, eastern Bering Sea. Widespread areas of snow and snow showers, St. Lawrence Island, all the way across the Pribilofs into the eastern Aleutians. Could pick up a few inches of snow on the Bering Sea side of the eastern Aleutians, as well as the Alaska Peninsula. And some snow-made grays southwest Kodiak Island, otherwise mostly clear from Kodiak Island, say the state airport, up across Cook Inlet, south central Alaska. Dry, light winds for the first day of the weekend, and some clearing right up into the interior to the north slope. A couple of weak troughs will bring some skiffs of snow to the eastern Arctic coast, as well as the central and west side. A little bit of light snow possible. North Gulf Coast, chance of light snow and a mixture of precipitation with a weak trough there moving into the Panhandle. Lows for tonight, generally 5 to 15 below for the North Slope Arctic coast into the Brooks Range, and single numbers there for the upper Yukon, Kobuk, Koyukuk valleys to Noatak Valley as well, and the greater Fairbanks area. Upper Tanana Valley into the single numbers of just above 0 for the Copper River Basin, and upper 20s to mid 30s for the Panhandle. Near freezing Kodiak Island, and 30s out west. Highs for tomorrow below 0 North Slope and the Brooks Range. Otherwise upper 20s to upper 30s southern Alaska, and lower 30s to near 40 for the Panhandle, near 40 Kodiak, upper 30s, lower 40s for the Alaska Peninsula. Looking at lows, colder Saturday morning. Now we're call it 10 to 20 below up there over the northeast interior and the central eastern North Slope areas, with below 0 weather into the Copper River Basin. Teens, south central Alaska. Mid 20s, mid 30s for the Panhandle. I'll be followed by highs upper 30s near 40 for the Alaska Peninsula and the southeast coast.
And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
First line weather graphic Friday morning. Marginal VFR, North Slope Arctic coast. Some VFR there from northwest coast area. Kotzebue on up toward Point Hope, and then eastward along the Brooks Range. IFR from the southeastern Brooks Range, upper Yukon Valley, right on down to the Yukon Delta and the Kuskokwim Delta, northern central part. And then Nunavut Island, across St. Matthew Island. Some IFR from the Bering Strait down to St. Lawrence Island. Otherwise looks VFR for the Pribilofs, VFR for the eastern Aleutians. Marginal for the remainder of the Bering Sea and the Aleutians, as well as Bristol Bay, the Alaska Peninsula. Some VFR up Cook Inlet, and that expands. You get into the Copper River Basin north into about the Fairbanks area, and then over toward Northway, Tok, Delta Junction, those areas. Marginal VFR North Gulf Coast and the Panhandle. And for the afternoon, swath of IFR from the west central interior there, right on down to the Yukon Delta coast and east side of Nunavut Island, across the Pribilofs, and then back to the west and then northwest. Becoming VFR, far western Aleutians, southern Bering and northern Bering, St. Lawrence Island. All of the Aleutians east of Kiska Island, marginal VFR. Marginal VFR, Alaska Peninsula, Bristol Bay. VFR, south central Alaska, Kodiak Island, Prince William Sound. Some marginal VFR lingering over the Wrangell Mountains, central Copper River Basin, and eastern North Gulf Coast. VFR, Panhandle marginal, some IFR there over toward the eastern border, and then VFR for the Brooks Range and parts of the eastern interior. And then for Saturday morning, marginal VFR, Arctic coast, portions of the North Slope down into the Bering Strait, and the Bering Sea, basically marginal VFR. We've got some VFR though, Amchitka, Kiska Island to Shimianat-2. And then the IFR, Atka Island, across the Fox Islands to along and north of the Alaska Peninsula. VFR, Bristol Bay, VFR, Kodiak Island, all southern Alaska, south and east of the Brooks Range. In fact, actually, the Kuskokwim Mountains there. So the Kuskokwim Valley, most of it VFR as well, along the North Gulf Coast. And the Panhandle, IFR, central and east side, marginal VFR elsewhere there. And some IFR due to low stuff up there in the Yukon Flats area. And that gives way to marginal VFR there for the Yukon Flats. Otherwise, most of interior Alaska looking pretty good. VFR, the exception being there for the along the Kuskokwim Mountains and Kuskokwim River Valley area down to the Delta, and also for the eastern Bering Sea up to the coast, and the North Slope and Arctic coast, marginal VFR. Eastern North Gulf Coast, marginal VFR from Montague Island eastward. Panhandle, not much change again. Marginal VFR with lowest conditions over toward the border. And for the Bering Sea, we've got some IFR actually on the north side of the Alaska Peninsula. Swath of VFR there, Kiska, Amchitka to Adak. And IFR starting to creep in toward Shimianat-2. And then for the passes, Anatuvik, marginal VFR improving through the day to VFR. Same forecast for Adigan. And Lake Clark and Merrill, IFR to start, marginal VFR to end. And windy, occasionally marginal throughout the day tomorrow. Isabel, occasional marginal VFR. And Mentesta starting out marginal, becoming the VFR. And Tanita improving as well. It's marginal VFR becomes VFR for the flying conditions there. Portage, marginal to VFR. And Chilkoot and White, marginal VFR mostly for the entire day. And then possible IFR on the south entrance of both passes. Freezing levels at the surface, south of St. Lawrence Island there, and then along the southwest coast, actually along the, hugging the coast here, southern Alaska, cutting through the northern panhandle. But 2,000 feet down to the Queen Charlottes and south of the Aleutian. So the jet stream, definitely we're on the cold side of the jet, staying to the south, or it is to the south. And for icing, Possible light to isolated moderate rime or mixed icing there along the coast of the Panhandle, especially toward Prince of Wales Island into Dixon Entrance, and areas of possible isolated moderate threats of icing here over the Bering Sea Aleutians into the west central interior. Jet stream, a series of weak upper lows, and to the south of those is the main jet, kind of catching the western Aleutians there at 95 knots, but south of everywhere else, and looking at 9,000 feet, weak lows over the interior, and we've got 45 to 60 knot winds there cutting across southern Bristol Bay, 50, 60 knot winds out over the Aleutians, and for 3,000 feet, north to northeasterlies, Chukchi Sea into St. Lawrence Island up to 35 knots, 45 knots over the Aleutians, and turbulence, especially early on, considerable moderate chop, Barren Island, seaside of Kodiak into Kamishak Bay, central Aleutians, and the western part of St. Lawrence Island.
Hey there, sky enthusiasts and meteorologists. That's someone who studies meteors. The lovely Leonid meteor shower is happening now. The moon is waning all week, so when the shower peaks on November 17th, you could spot 5 to 15 meteors per hour. To find the Leonids, look for Leo the Lion between midnight and 6 a.m., with best viewing closer to dawn. Finding Leo is easy. Just look for the backwards question mark. Just face east around 3 a.m. and look left for the Big Dipper. Use the 2 stars at the end of its bowl to form a line to Leo, and you know you're on the right track when you see Algeba on the way to Regulus. Regulus is the dot of our question mark, and Algeba is the bottom of the curve. But Leo is way larger, so set up a chair and look for shooting stars. For the Leonids, every year is different. After a spectacular shower in 1833, astronomers realized the source was the comet Tempel-Tuttle. Keep looking up.
We're at Vandenberg Air Force Base. We're about 20 minutes before the launch of ICESat-2. You might see the white light off in the distance. That's the Delta II rocket.
It kind of feels like an idea that was always going to just stay an idea. But no, it's real. It's sitting on top of the rocket.
You know, and for me, it's kind of surreal. Like you say, it's been 10 years, and it's hard to believe. It's like, we're really here? This is really about to happen? It's totally cool.
This is Dr. Tom Newman. Over the years, his work has taken him to some pretty remote areas to study changes in the ice regions of our planet. And his research, among many others, has defined the goals of the new NASA satellite, the Ice, Cloud, and Land Elevation Satellite 2, or ICESat-2.
And we have ignition. And
The story of ICESat-2 really begins with ICESat-1. ICESat told us all kinds of cool things about the ice sheet and about sea ice that we didn't really know to ask. That data allowed us to measure elevation change of ice sheets in a way that we hadn't been able to before, and showed that all the action on the ice sheets, the places that were really changing quickly, were around the edges. So when we were thinking about what could we do better next time, we knew that was one key component.
In addition to the edges of the ice sheets, ICESat-2 needed to measure a dimension of sea ice that remained elusive: its thickness. To figure out how thick sea ice is, you can measure the height of ice sticking out of the ocean, or freeboard, and compare it to the height of water between the sea ice flows, called leads.
The problem is, sea ice is really dynamic, and those cracks open and close various places in the ice pack throughout the day, throughout the year, and what we need to do is have measurements of the ocean whenever it's available, wherever it occurs in the sea ice pack.
To solve that problem, ICESat-2 was designed with a fast pulsing laser instrument to take precise, near-continuous measurements across its 3 pairs of beams. For 10 years, everything about the mission was designed to measure rapid changes in the most rapidly changing part of the cryosphere. But it has to get into space first.
But it's a huge, huge transition going from the ground to in space. We've spent better part of 10 years, thousands of people have been involved, and actually seeing the rocket there on the pad with all of that work kind of all put together in one place, it's pretty amazing. And then getting up in the middle of the night to go watch the actual launch, it's sort of surreal in a way, because you've put so much time into it for so long, and actually seeing it over there is like, whoa, you know, it's a big deal.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's off. That's 1.
That was awesome. Totally cool. There it went. That was Atlas. Last Delta 2, heading on out. So Atlas has been turned on over the course of the first few weeks of the mission, really culminating for us with the laser. So this is our first look at sea ice data from ICESat-2, and it looks fantastic. The signal levels look great. We've got plenty of photons there. We're capturing ridges. We can clearly see the ocean. All sorts of cool stuff in there, and this is just our first data. It's only going to get better from here on out.
The data from ICESat-2 is well on its way into digging deeper into the unknown dimensions of sea ice sheets, and glaciers. It will shed light on changes in sea level and global weather patterns, and once again find new things about ice we didn't know to ask.
So my heart is definitely racing. I don't know about anyone else's. This is the stuff nerds dream of.
Slight chance the flight may see ICESat-2 in their center windscreen. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Back looking at coastal water forecasts, small current advisories on the central coast of the Panhandle there for southwest winds 25 knots, seas up to 17 feet. South coast, Prince of Wales Island along the coast there, southwest at 20. And then the north coast, lighter winds from the east-southeast at 15 knots with seas running 14 to 16 feet. And for Lynn Canal, Glacier Bay, northern inside waters, northerly winds at 20 tomorrow with 4-foot seas, and southeast 20 with gusts 35 knots for Stevens Passage. Otherwise, Clarence Strait, southeast 15, seas 5 feet. And outlook first day of the weekend, central and southern inside waters, southeast winds around 15 knots with 3-foot seas. Lynn Canal, north 15, seas 3 feet. And the south coast, southerlies at 15 knots, seas at around 16 feet. And for the central coast, easterlies at 20 knots, and the north coast east at 15. Seas all along that area running 9 to 16 feet. For northern Cook Inlet, light northwest breeze tomorrow at 10 knots with 2-foot seas. But south of the Forelands, winds increase markedly with northwest 30 knots there for southern Cook Inlet, 5-foot seas. And gales for Kamishak Bay, west winds 40 knots, turn northwest 35 knots for the Barren Islands, and small craft advisories, northwest 25 for the western North Gulf Coast, north 15 with 10-foot seas for the eastern North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound, northwest 15 knots, seas 3 feet. And for Saturday, Prince William Sound, light northerly winds at 10 knots. Otherwise for the North Gulf Coast, north to northeast winds at 15 knots with 5-foot seas. Barren Islands, Kamishak Bay, northwesterlies at 20 knots, and southern Cook Inlet, winds coming down to 15 knots from the north and northeast at 10 for northern Cook Inlet, seas running 3 feet. And for Kodiak Island, on Friday, westerlies, gales again, especially on the east side of the island there with higher gusts out of the bays, 35 knots, 15-foot seas. Sitkinak, the Cape Sarichef, Pacific side of all the Alaska Peninsula, westerlies 30 knots, seas 10 to 13 feet. And small craft advisories for the Bering Sea side of the Alaska Peninsula, right up across Bristol Bay for west winds at 25 knots with seas 10 to 11 feet. And for Saturday, Alaska Peninsula, northwest winds 30 knots, 14-foot seas. Bristol Bay, north 25 with 8-foot seas. And Castle Cape to Sitkinak, small craft advisories, northwest 25 knots and 9-foot seas. And Kodiak Island, lighter winds, northwest 20 with 5 to 6-foot seas. And out there for the Fox Islands, tomorrow, west 25 knots, 9 to 12-foot seas, and northwest 30 knots for the AKwx area, 11 to 12-foot seas. And actually, northwest winds, small craft advisory winds of 30 knots will extend from AKwx all the way out to Shemya and Attu, with seas up to 13 feet. For Saturday, winds Shemya and Attu swing around to the southeast, pick up to 30 knots with seas at around 12 feet. Otherwise, AKwx and Atka northwesterlies 30 knots, and that'll extend in toward and across Unimak Island. Otherwise, Unalaska Island, north to northwest winds 30 knots on Saturday, with seas running 11 to 15 feet. Southwest coast tomorrow, small craft advisories, west winds 25 knots, seas 10 feet. About the same forecast for the Pribilofs, westerlies at 25, and St. Matthew Island northerlies at 30 knots with 11-foot seas. North 30 knots also, good for small craft advisory St. Lawrence Island, seas running 12 feet, northeast 20 for Norton Sound. North winds 20 knots for Saturday, Norton Sound, and north 25, St. Lawrence Island. Southwest coast, small craft advisories, northwest winds 30 knots. Same forecast for St. Matthew Island and the Pribilofs, northwest at 30 knots, seas up to 13 feet. And for the eastern Beaufort Sea coast, brisk wind advisories, west winds 25 to 30 knots, and the central coast northwest at 20, seas and ice-free waters at 4 feet. And small craft advisories for the western coast down to Cape Thompson, northerlies 25 knots, and gale warnings from Cape Thompson to Wales for northeast winds at 35. And then for Saturday, looking at 20-knot winds from the north-northeast from Wales up to Cape Beaufort, and the western Arctic coast north at 15, central coast northwest 20, seas 4 feet, and westerlies 20 to 25 knots for the eastern stretch of the coastline to Demarcation Point. And for tonight, rain and snow continues depending on your elevation and latitude for the panhandle there, and areas of snow and snow showers. Kenai Peninsula on the decrease, though, into the Copper River Basin. Wind slowly diminishing Kodiak Island and really diminishing for the Alaska Peninsula. Stays breezy with periods of snow for the southwest coast. Snow advisory lower Yukon Valley 4 to 7 inches tonight. That ends at 6 a.m. And then for tomorrow, clearing out, less wind, south central Alaska, more sunshine Kodiak Island, and stays unsettled and damp for the panhandle and cold.
These forecasts are for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating.